They don't let me attach to the wall here. Sometimes that feels like the primary clue that they in fact do not want me to go somewhere. Oh, maybe I can. I know, this is where we came up. Yeah, that's exactly where it is. Okay. Is it? Oh, I went up over there. I think. Maybe. I don't know. I think I went up over there because I definitely came here. Anyway. This morning I forgot to put lichen in my drink, but drank it anyway. And then cried tears of joy because my toast was so delicious. I'm so wound up I can't get anything done. I don't know if I should blame the drought, the evacuation that started, or the end of the world. Anyway, I've got mushrooms to grow. Forgot to put lichen in my drink. And what is the lichen in your drink normally doing? Nope, can't make it that high. Seems there wasn't much more to do here. Okay. It looked like there was more stuff up here, and this is just a little side thing to take a look at. This is the whole thing. Alright, very careful. This cavern is so big that it rivals the scale of the landscape we were seeing when the game started, when we were nearest to the ground but already really high up. Like, the inside of this place is just as big as that. Especially startling after what we've seen so far of the inside. It makes sense though. If it's hollow inside, then it's like, okay, this was a volcano. Like, mountains have to form somehow, and that's one of them. I'm actually trying to remember my geology days. It might be all of them. It might be all the ways that mountains form. So it usually has something to do with plates. What is this space? So these are the sluice gates. The ocean used to be this high, and they'd use the sluice gates to let people in, matching the water level inside and outside of this area. So probably that entire open area was also full of water. The huge interior of the mountain. It's just everything was. Say no to locks. Water and people should be able to flow freely. We can't deny the many for the sake of the few. In the current crisis, it's our duty to stand in solidarity with living things. To confine the water is to confine us all. Regular information sessions at the market canteen. The Whitewater Collective. When things first started going bad, there was immediately class struggle. Whitewater Collective, because whitewater is water that's moving. I might be a little turned around. Was I here yet? I think this is new. Community Canteen. Upcoming activities. Permanent team to fight water insecurity. Fundraising dinners for the Whitewater Collective. Repair workshop. All items accepted. Note. The canteen will now open 1 prime earlier to reduce overcrowding. Pay what you can. To help in the kitchen, arrive early in the sleep. All help welcome. That's one of the particular things they always say. In the sleep. It's been this many sleeps. Which is just days. But obviously, it's the word that describes the thing you do not during the day usually. But I guess especially if the sun stops moving, then days don't exist anymore. So it's just the natural rhythm of a human body is all that's left for keeping time, maybe. I don't know how to keep track of what octaves are. Because once again, if the sun and earth aren't changing position, then sundials don't work. It's not that. No one comes by anymore. I haven't sold a single flower. Should I switch careers? I don't know how to do anything besides taking care of plants. Might as well write poetry, right? Or try to, at least. Roses are red. Violets are blue. Where, oh, where has everyone gone to? Yeah. Ow. You can read it as a joke, obviously, but that is a moment where, technically, we had another point of connection between our culture and this game's. Roses are red, violets are blue. Referencing that implies things. Where are we going? I'm not completely sure. Oh, here we go. No higher, though? Ah, oh god, I made that. Okay. I'm so good at video games. I knew what I was doing. Woo! I knew what I was doing the whole time. Wee. Oop. Not gonna quite make it there. Whew. Made it. Gazette, issue 37. 8 octaves and 2/5 after the Jusant. Editorial. In this issue of the Gazette, we'll be looking at an animal from the outside for once. The weavebeak. Weavebeaks are the only animals found in every region of the tower. Every known region, at least. Sometimes they even venture into our tunnels. These medium-sized birds are known for their all-white feathers and blue comb. It's not uncommon to see the playful birds gliding through the warm drafts that rise up the cliffs of the tower. They're also extremely curious, and can often be found perched near climbing routes, observing and commenting on what's happening with their fellow birds. Not only are weavebeaks social creatures, they've also skilled builders. They work together to build their nests, which have multiple entrances and can house dozens of weavebeaks. They are constantly strengthening and expanding their nests, and are always on the lookout for twigs, hence the expression, working like a weavebeak. Did you know? Weavebeaks' combs open and close depending on their mood. A wide open comb means that the weavebeak is alert or stressed about something, or someone. But enough chatter. Keep reading for an in-depth look at the lives of these outwardly assuming, yet fascinating birds. Outwardly unassuming. Dear editor, I've only read the editorial and I'm already outraged. It all sounds very nice, but you might want to think twice before publishing such nonsense. Weave beaks are thieves. They're always stealing my wood to build their nests. I'm unsubscribing. Signed, a disgruntled citizen. Well. How dare you be interested in an animal that I find inconvenient? Oop. Gonna take a little bit to parse what we're looking at around here. Really? Usually you can make that kind of jump. Yeah, you definitely should be able to make that. I guess there's just nothing up there. Let's see if I can make it. Oof. Everything's fine. Oh, there they go. I missed my chance for a smooth ride. All right. These areas are beautiful. I'm surprised they don't have like a vertical elevator shaft to ship goods around. Like that one guy stopped getting the mail, or stopped getting the Gazette, because I guess they were still making it up here or something. And like you physically couldn't receive it because there was a shortage of goods and traversal methods, and they couldn't use the animals to carry it back and forth. Come now, dear friend. Enough moping around. The situation isn't as hopeless as that. I'm quite certain the water supply is being managed by some very competent people. I have no doubt that they have a clever plan to get us out of this mess. Believe me, there's no cause for concern. Are you still coming over for tea? We've filled the basin. Nothing like a bit of swimming to chase away the blues. Nothing like a bit of swimming. I think we are implying a class disparity and whatnot. You know? Doesn't want to let me grab that one. Guess we'll have to start here. Because this would be the people who didn't have to displace themselves for work? Potentially. Would have been further back a longer time ago. But they do still seem to be people that like didn't have to leave, at least for a while. They're just openly oblivious to the entire idea that there's a water shortage and just like hanging out and having a swim anyway while the news is around. Like, while some people are worried, they're just like, nah. Let's have a party. It'll be fun. Okay, so this curry bit's gonna cause me some problems. Yep, I gotta get over this lip. No, please. I beg of thee. Take me yonder. No, please. I need you. I need horizontal progress. I beg you. Okay, we're fine. Okay. Let's relax a little bit. Just chill a moment. Okay, I need to stop jumping. I need to manage to get the rest of the way up there without doing much more of that. But these just don't get close enough together. Fuck it. It's hard to transfer between the different sources of these guys. Okay, we're making it. Just a little further. Okay, no, everything's fine. I'm fine. Okay. It's cool, I just made the child scream a little bit. That's normal. Oh. The long shimmy. The color temperature here. The blue to the bright orange to the green inside. Oh, that's a dead end. Okay, well that narrows things down. Don't look down. Ha 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 ha. This game's really good at changing the overall look from chapter to chapter, so it feels like you're not just doing one thing forever, which really is a hallmark of this, like, these, like, post-journey type games, I guess. But it's nice. It's a quarry. The moment you see those big, square-shaped chunks of rock, you know it's a quarry. Along with my basalt column collection, I was going to start collecting all the different quarries I see in games and do a photo album, but I just kind of stopped keeping track of that stuff as much. Kind of moved on after like 8 years. There's still boats all the way up here. Yeah, right, because the canals. That's how they're moving the rocks, probably. Okay, it's gonna be a tall one. Okay. It's fine. Just grab on. And, die. Why'd that one barely go anywhere? Whoa, this one went high. You just gotta believe. Oh, it's gonna be a tall one. Okay. Let's keep going. I just gotta keep changing which bug I'm climbing on and not do the ones that are too close to the exit. Like that one. Oh god. Yep. Let's just get here. Okay. And we're fine. Ooh. Checkpoint. Like the real kind. Whoop. I'll be fine. Ooh. Good. Let's relax a second and go. We're making good time. Don't try this at home. Okay, not my best. I'll just hang out here. Interesting. You have to reconnect to it essentially if you want the stamina from it. Will you guys come to me? If I go down here and call you to me, then come back up here, will you still help me up here? They won't. There we go. Got there eventually. Probably should never move this fast in real life. Even if you can. I would not trust every single one of these handholds to hold. That is a blind faith that will quickly make you a dead faithful. We're somewhere. Okay, whew. Oh, here we are. Sincerely, like, I was like, what did I even accomplish? I thought I just climbed all the way up here to a dead end. I was about to be upset. I was like, what does this mean? Ooh. Hi. It's like a lantern ceremony. This seems to be the inspiration for that aesthetic. The Jellum fish can just fly. It's fucked up. Oh, that goes somewhere. So does that? Yeah, that looks like the climb, and this looks like the covert spot. There's a mural. I can see the thing in the middle. Yep. It's a Game Boy. No, it's a reservoir. It's the water table, essentially, and how the water would go everywhere from there. Because there was actually a water source to sustain the whole thing. But given how high up we are, that's very strange that there'd be a water source up here that's so reliable and so large. So that seems to point towards the idea that it's the creatures doing it. Like it was always a supernatural mountain with an unreasonable source of survival. Am I gonna ride them at all? I wonder. Ride me! Help! That appeared to have been exclusively a dead end. This is one of my favorite mechanics in the entire game, is the fact that you can add anchor points and then use those as these places for climbing around. Like, it's always a little moment of like, aha! Like, I feel genuinely clever for just a second, even though it's, like, pretty linear. You just have a moment of like, oh, right, I do have the freedom to just create... I can just stop right here and rest, create an anchor point, and then use that anchor point and swing and lower myself and just remove my... I can just separate from the wall itself. It's a pretty wild behavior. Oh, God. Ha ha ha. This might be a bit much. Oh, God. Aha! It'd be very funny if the fall of this entire civilization was just a classic Minecraft. Oh no, you never dig down moment. They dug down and all the water fell out. Sorry, Ida. I have to go to the market. Their water inlet is acting up again. Things are starting to get complicated. I really thought that by holding back the water, there's nothing to be done. The basins are empty. I think it's time for a more radical change. What should have happened? What would have happened if we'd let the water flow freely from the start? I'm boring you with my musings, but sometimes I get the feeling we've made a big mistake. There's a pier collapsing in the boatmen's district. Think you could take care of it? Hey, Joe. Things are non-stop at the moment. I'll have to go fishing for a new team to shore it up. Issa's already over at the 2 pillar site. As for the other stuff, I don't know what to say. What's done is done. Alright, I'll pick up the supplies I need. Then I'm off to the boatmen's district. Whee! Oh, that's... Am I gonna be okay? Hey, big guy. Hope you're well. You know, still don't like the thought of you perched above that basin. It's too big. You just aren't made for the open air. You'd be better off in our tunnels where it's cozier. You might have already heard, but Anne's barge is finally back on dry land. They can't drive it anymore, they say. But you should see them now. They've never been so busy. They're working at a sore rescue center. Or some such thing, if you can believe it. Who'd want to save sores? Seriously. They always look so disgruntled. They're judging us. But things haven't been easy for Anne. And they seem happy again. That's what matters. Your father played a song for you. It was beautiful. May the currents be kind to you, wherever they are. Is this funerary? Is someone missing or dead? Those look like huge roots out there. This place is wild. There's still boats. Because there was boats here too. God, does somebody live on this part? That's just wild. I assume at some point that letter actually went somewhere. Because, oh my god. Or was everyone just always this good at climbing? All the destroyed connections? There's always these lanterns that look like lighthouses. There's always, like, obliterated ladders and things here and there that indicate that this at least made more sense at some point. But you do kind of get a sense that people just kind of dealt with it. And climbed regardless for a while. Please don't go down. Looks like it was going to come back up. I did not trust. I'm sorry. You dug too deeply and too greedily. Whee! Okay, well that was upsetting. I'm here. It is funny, the idea of being more stressed the higher we go, because there's no indication that you actually are ever in danger in this game. I think it might be impossible to die. We are the water surveyors. In the dark tunnels, we guide, clean, navigate rivers and streams. So the water called forth in the day and the sky can fill, nourish, cherish all living things. What are we doing here? Am I going for that? It's a bit of a swing. Oh god. Ooh. Oh my god, I went. Oh, ran out of rope. Well, I do believe we're really fucking high up right about now. Oh, you can see him listening through my other ear, which doesn't make sense, but it's cute. Some games are just whoops all vibes. Oop. I often wonder what would have happened if the rain had returned. Would we still have met? Or would we have led parallel lives elsewhere, each of us unaware of each other's existence? As much as seeing the great basin dry up, more with each sleep fills me with despair, I can't help but be happy by your side. Their boats were pink up here. These people are not fazed by heights at all. Good. Oop. Oh, goodbye. We're in a new space now. What is that? Not sure what that device is. Ugh. Every new climb. This kid does have infinite hustle. Nope. There we go. It was just enough at an awkward angle that it wasn't quite working for me. There we go. Oh. The way the music cut out to reveal this place. The Shining Tower. That looks very man-made. Very carefully carved space. kind of makes me think that at some point this was supposed to be the bottom of it and it like collapsed. And dumped all the water out. Gotta head this way. Oh, okay. Didn't love that for a moment. Oh, right. The thing I keep talking about that's neat about the game. It's funny because it will just kind of hit you with moments where you're like, am I stuck? Am I in trouble? Ow. There's always a way. Ride me! Okay. Ooh. Look at this space. There's technically a hole up there. He has a butthole. Just saw his butthole. Oh, they're all gonna carry me up to the hole. Seeing that place open up just to not contain what it was supposed to have. And then the water comes out. Uh-oh. Oh. Oh, this looks hostile. It's time for the storm. Alrighty, I'm back for another day. Let's see that transition. I'm in danger. Whoa. That's interesting. Okay, so the wind has a very direct effect on things. You go sailing. Get ourselves a recharge. Oh. Oh. I heard the creature. I don't think I saw anything. The wind is changing direction. It's currently going down right, but it sometimes goes up left. I think this is the timing puzzle I'm supposed to do. Yep. There's moments where the game really guides you because you literally cannot turn your camera in a certain direction. Which is a thing that isn't immediately clear. Oh god. Time for me to get introduced to the act of falling in this game. Much more than before. Okay, so way back when I was stuck in that windmill area trying to figure out what they wanted me to do and got really off course at a point. Here we go. That was an instance where the game was trying to force me to go a specific direction by locking the camera, but I didn't quite pick up on what they wanted from me at the time. Alright, well here's going to be a place where locking... Oop, don't want to go that way. Here's where my budget of anchors is going to really matter. Because it lets me not have to go that far back each time I mess up one of these jumps. So the wind socks tell us which way the wind is going. Without them, we'd be in trouble. Oh, speaking of windmill. Is this a platform? I'm not gonna trust it. I'm not trusting this one bit. I don't need to do a scary jump, I can just climb up here. Oh, the windmill's moving now. Uh-huh. Is it also going to change direction with the wind? Or is that too cruel? There we go. Wasn't totes sure how that one was going to work out. Here we go. The game, funnily enough, does let me relax right now. No! Okay. No, it also didn't go where I thought it would. Good. No! Oh, no! Wow, he's going to space. Went to a different planet. Let's climb up. Alright, so once again I need to make better use of my anchor points, because this is the hardest the game's ever been as far as this stuff goes. It fucking windy. Damn, I'm just trying to do basic things right now. No! It's stuff that's right there. I don't know if I love this combo. It's one thing to have me wait for the timing of the stuff, but I'm like, bro, you're putting me on a thing that itself has timing. There we go. Okay, there we go. There was a spot where you're gonna reach. That's what's going on there. I'm like, if jumping is unreasonable, then what am I doing here? Because no one wants to loop 7 times, hoping for the 2 schedules to meet up. Nah. I'm free. Therefore, I am cringe. Big win, let's go! Nope. Alright. What if I run around like this? Yeah. There we go. Figured I'd make it there eventually. Please. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're getting checkpoints. We're fine. Everything's fine. In base 4, I'm fine. Oh, wind go up. Wind did not go up. I thought it was going up. You fooled me. There we go. We just need to semi-terrifyingly hang from the ceiling. That's fine. It's fine. I'm not terrified at all right now. Help. Help. Oh, thank God. Let me stand on my feet. We did it, eventually. Level over there, but probably some letters over here. Impressive for them to be sticking around with all the wind and whatnot. Oh, we're hearing noises. Greetings. I waited for your craftspeople to arrive several sleeps ago, but they never landed. When can I expect you? We're patching things up as best we can, but the wind is carrying away everything in its path, and the roof won't hold out much longer. The situation is getting urgent. I hope this reply doesn't reach you too late. The relays have been malfunctioning recently. I apologize, but due to the storm, we are no longer able to travel to your altitude. The danger is too great. My only advice is to take shelter. An emergency shelter is being set up here for you heights dwellers. May rain fall on you and your loved ones. You have my full support. That sounds like an insult. This sounds like a threat. But in this setting, it's like a standout thing, because like, oh shit, rain. They had rain back then. And rain was good. It led to survival in a place like this. And we live in a world now where there hasn't been rain forever. Okay, well this clearly goes up. So what's over here? What's going on over here? Hmm? Greetings, iguana creature. The Jusant continues to carry away the ocean. Last we heard, on the sun side, the temperature keeps on rising. Here, a storm is raging and doesn't seem to be letting up. Everything around us is coming to a standstill. Or maybe they've been at a standstill for too long? We won't be able to reach, to nest at the mill much longer, that I know. But we can't leave without putting up a fight. In the meantime, we've entrusted our little Ole to my sibling. They're traveling downward with their family. Like most of the other Heights dwellers, Ole should be safe under the stone. I already miss my little nestling smile. We'll see each other again, when the clouds decide. I have horrible news. Things never got better. Got stuck again? They got stuck so easily. Okay. There's gonna be a mural in here. I'm betting this place is optional. Uh-huh. Whale noises. And it looks like a whale. It also looks like the inside of some place full of people swimming. And ocean. It does look like, yeah. It looks like it's simultaneously a picture of a reef under the ocean, like the waves are up top, and the sea life and people and everything. But also just looks like it's shaped like a whale itself, too. Rock dweller thingy. You see it roaming by. Bye. This kid has never stopped to eat. Or drink, really. You would likely need some resting and some drinking approximately every 10 minutes in this nightmare journey. And look at them go. Ugh. Ooh. Everything's fine. I'm just in a lot of danger. Ooh, my thingy is shaking, so my stamina is going down faster. Or my thing's red, my thing's orange, I mean. That meant direct sunlight before, but it might not now. I don't know if I can make this jump. Maybe maybe just when the wind calms down. Oh my goodness, calm down. Stop blowing. I want to see those things dangle low and pendulous. There we go. No, I made it, and then I pressed another button. Oh, God. Damn, shins of steel. That's the first time I've actually fallen all the way back down. I had to put an anchor point up there. Until now, the seeming indestructibility of this child has been a mere suggestion, but now it does appear to be basically true. I like the detail that they have these leggings that are covered in tiny little pads that not only do they look like a cobblestone wall, but they're clearly covered in little like things that would guard their knees and shins from all these impacts against the rocks because they have to climb so much with their legs. Doesn't quite go to explain their ability to survive huge falls like Shell and Portal. This part's weirdly hard. There we go. Okay. Another one. No. Relinquish yonder wind sock. Okay. There we go. Uh-huh. Nuh-uh. This one's already extended. Where are we going? Oh, there we go. Man, if I had this kind of hustle, I'd never have to burn calories again. This kid puts to shame every video game character that ever thought they were a badass because they could run up a ladder. Ooh, you press the run button on a ladder and you go faster. That's the kid's default speed. It's just how we go. Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. Bet someone lived in there. Logbook. Becca was right. The water creatures were incredible. Huge. So, ballasts are real after all. It was their song I'd heard sometimes, between gusts of wind. We only just caught a glimpse of them, but once we did, nothing else mattered. Everything went quiet, watching them slowly disappear into the storm. For a long time, no one moved a muscle. Arlo shook his head, staring into space. For a moment, he looked like he just lost his bearings, same as the rest of us. After the astonishment came the feverish preparations. Around me, the rope team got moving, sharpening their weapons, scanning the clouds. We needed to capture at least one of those flying water tanks. Even Sol ended up grabbing a harpoon. What other hope do we have of bringing the water back? He sounded almost apologetic. I'm the one who's sorry. Bianca. That's sad. The inscriptions are everywhere, just like the sign we saw before. Yeah, it was a cross-section of one of these guys. So it's what the ballasts look like, the full-size ones. They look like weird tardigrade sperm whales, which are, and they're seemingly the adult version of this little guy on my shoulder. I think they're the same guy. This thing seems like it's made of water, or is a water creature. Tardigrade sperm whales. What a sentence to say. Every sleep, I tried to convince Arlo, Sol, and the others to stay. I even threw their harpoons away, at least the ones I could reach, but they were so determined to catch a sky giant and return with its water, to go back to the way life was before. But the way life was before is what brought us here. They ventured into the storm to hunt and never returned. I waited for them for a long time. Lost at sea. I grieved for them. Who else but me? They may have gone, but I treasure their memory. I still remember Naisa's advice, Sol's laugh, Arlo's furrowed brow. Sometimes my thoughts turn to my parents, to Emmy, Gal, and Met. I wonder where they are, and where they're going. If their thoughts drift up here sometimes, they live within me too. At first, I kept track of my harvests, but as time went by, I ended up losing track. To survive, I became an earth scratcher too. What would you make of that, Becca? I'm probably doing it all wrong, but things are growing. Not bad for a girl from low tide. Note to self. I'll have to divide my garden beds if I want to have enough hardtack for the cycles to come. I don't know when I decided to stay up in the crow's nest. It just happened. I'm happy here. I wish I could talk to the young Bianca who left low tide, who only ever thought of leaving. Moving. Too impatient for a stationary world. She'd probably find this quite ironic. But this climb? Already so long ago now. Taught me to live in the present moment. It took me a while. But I finally put down roots. With each passing sleep, I understand it more clearly. The tower needs me. Needs us all. Needs us to change. And if we have to change our way of being, might as well start here. I never belonged in low tide. A lighthouse keeper in an oceanless world. But since I met the ballast, I feel like I found something I didn't know I'd lost. A fragile link of something bigger than myself. A mutual respect. I'm nothing compared to these water giants who swim through the storm. But they look at me with interest and curiosity. They watch me when I carve the scraps of wood. When I bring in the harvest. When I write. As if to learn. Or to remember. I want to stay here, in case someone else is crazy enough to try to find them. They watch over me, and I watch over them in turn. As the ballast draw near, the cliffs wake up. Even I feel like I stand taller and feel lighter, more alert. Younger, even? These arthritic joints have creaked for a long time now, but you get the idea. I wonder how long the ballast kept my company in my Spartan existence. They eventually left. One by one. I know they're out there. Somewhere, though. One of them stayed. It comes to see me from time to time, like it's watching over me. We watch each other grow older. We go about our business, knowing the other's there, and that's enough. And it gives me someone to talk to. I'm happy. I'm where I'm meant to be. Where I need to be now. Bianca. Arthritic joints, so she really aged. So she's been here for an eternity and then gone. Her notes are weighted down by a stone as a nice detail to justify this windy ass setting. She started growing food here and she just stayed here. It was just like the last way station that their team had before everyone disappeared and presumably died. And she stayed behind. And then that just became her life. Ooh. It's a sad end. On one hand, there's the idea, like, there's the obvious climate change element of the narrative that they're pointing at here, where it's like, oh, these people, what do you mean you're trying to go back to the world before? The world before is how we got here. You can't just recreate the same problems again. It's the man versus nature stuff. I'm not sure if I fully understand what people would have done wrong, though, in this setting compared to real life. Because they kind of have a chill existence overall. I know they eventually chose to hunt the ballast. Oh god, oh god, oh god! How did I not connect to anything? I know they eventually went for hunting the ballast, but that wasn't part of the... I don't think that was part of how their society worked before then. God, wind really throws things up. Okay. Waiting for it to go back up. Grab it! Okay, thank you. Jeez. Okay, let's put a thing down before I fall again. I can't. Okay. Oh wait, this will connect. No, stop going on that side. Okay, I might have to jump it. Okay, one went down now. That's good. Alright. Woohoo. Running out of stamina. Woohoo. No more jumping. Jumping has gotten me in so much trouble. I don't know if I can avoid jumping anymore, though. I love their definition of when I can relax, because it's nonsense. Eh. I can hang in places like this. I can't necessarily regenerate my stamina meter. Where are we going next? Might need some help. Does my friend help? No. Am I going under this? It won't. I don't think it'll let me. I'm lost. Oh, are those handholds going up more? Oh, those are so hard to see. Oh, chill, chill. The orange is really making my meter go. Okay. Oh, checkpoint. Yeah, the lighting there was murder. You couldn't see those handholds at all. It was just a solid gray wall. Oh, let's just stay still till this is over. Okay. Ooh. Every time the really heavy wind comes up, it seems to basically stop you from moving. Yep. Ooh, even at rest, I can't stave off the decay. Oh, come on, game. I think that was just me messing up my arms, because it wasn't orange. It was normal. Come on. I can't see my hands really clearly. There we go. I didn't know which one's currently extended. I think I'm messing up my alternations. Maybe having trouble finding a place to attach to. There we go. Whew. It fucking windy. Oh, hello. Okay, those have ended chapters before, so let's check for notes. Because it didn't do that at the beginning, but later on it made me leave when I did that, and I probably missed notes when I did that? Or maybe they carefully didn't put anything down because it would do that. Oh, well, there's a cairn. How is a cairn here? That doesn't look stable. It just seems a little too windy here for a cairn to be still standing. Unless you place those rocks real stable, like real flat. This seems dangerous. Do not recommend. Okay. Good thing it happened to have climbing gear on it. Oh. Uh-huh. No, I'll be fine. This is normal. Uh-huh. Hi there. Ugh. Relax. That little guy has an iron grip despite having no hands. Oh no, they're freezing. That's oddly distressing. Wait, there's just a ball of water the whole time? Oh. They really did put the 4 seasons in this, just like in Journey and Abzu. These games always come down to the 4 seasons again. Well, I thought the little blue guy was a ballast, but I'm not sure anymore. As you can see in video game terms, winter symbolizes death. This is the 7th such example we've seen in games. I think people are already kind of wise to the ways when I think Journey came out in 2012 and The Last of Us came out in 2013, and they both did the same 4-season schedule, and they both specifically correlated winter with death, which is obviously a wider cultural thing, but it's like it's up there with like how 2013 was the year of bows, which I don't know if anyone remembers that anymore because it was 11 years ago, but that was the years of bows in video games. I was particularly struck when Abzu managed to fit seasons in because it's an underwater game. It did it through color, temperature, and stylization. It's fun. I could go through another 2-hour adventure that goes through the seasons every year or so and have a good time with it. I underestimated just how massive this crater is when we flew over it until the ballast started crashing, and it was so much smaller than I thought it was compared to the crater. More and more of the creatures are drawn on there too. Okay, it looks like it's going to be polite enough to have a front door. I thought I was going to have to climb that. God, is that just the ocean? That's a hell of a visual. Oh, it's all constellations, so maybe I do have to climb those. They look like that something that would happen with. Oh yeah, this does not... There was once a staircase inside of here. I don't think I'm gonna trust that anymore. Oh no! His chime is sad and weak. Like in Journey. Where they give you a big, powerful, magical chime game, but at the end it's winter and it's symbolized by death and you can't chime no more. It's not, I'm not complaining when the game has a lot in common with Journey here and there. It's just funny to me. I mean, it's not exactly constantly overdone stuff. But when you do just have the chime from Journey, it's very funny. There you go. Probably should have done that sooner, buddy. Keep the little guy warm. Alright. You hold on, I'll do this part myself. Oh god, it's so far. Okay. I think the trick here is I need to jump as little as possible because I don't know if there's any checkpoints. Which means my maximum stamina, if it goes down, we might not be getting back. Oh! I forgot to do a double jump. Oh, I did another jump on accident. Alright, so off to a bad start. There we go. Only the ones with pips are climbable, it looks like. I have to make this work. Rest. How am I gonna make this? Oh, is that a hole up there? I think there's a hole up there for me to stand on ground. Which will be very important soon, because I don't think you can make these gaps without jumping. And every jump decreases my maximum stamina. Go that away. Ooh! That looked very risky. Okay, we're good. Standing. And maybe lore? I see a constellation there, but overall I don't think you can get anywhere else. Ooh, yep, we're up here now. Probably have to pass through the other side and try this side now. Hip! Okay. We'll be fine. Uh-oh. Okay, no, I can work with this. I can use one of my anchors. Relax. Oh, too far. Not there yet. But soon. I'm in danger. Let's put one in again. Let my poor guy chill. Alright, so going higher is hard. We can go horizontal with the big swing. There's our next stop. I can definitely imagine that if you check the list, there's probably an achievement for this, for doing this level a specific way, or maybe lighting every single constellation or something. Ooh. Am I going back or in here? Ooh. There we go. That was a smooth transition from swinging to climbing the stairs, like it was normal. We're getting there. No. Ooh. Hmm. That looks like the shortest path up, but that looks like it has something in it. I probably want to check that out either way. So let's go the long way. I also don't know if I can jump that high, but either way, I probably want to go this way. Woo! That's a little terrifying. Alright, a little too high. A little too low, I mean. Oh. It's very goofy. What could go wrong? Yes, yes, could go wrong. So I kind of thought I was going to go inside there. Alright, well. I can at least get here now pretty easily. That wind mechanic didn't last all that long. I think we spent less time with the wind mechanic than we did with the bugs climbing on the walls mechanic. But admittedly, there's only so much you can do with it randomly affects the way your jumps work mechanic. Ooh. The Great Conjunction is the end of the world. Or the beginning? And begin. All the same. Big change. Ooh. The effect of the globe of water on the floor. The shimmer. Kind of a constellation out there. Well, this is probably it. Oh, did they all freeze up here? It's raining. And so begins Noah's flood. There will be no survivors. And I will watch you all die now. We did it. Definitely pretty much knew where the game was going to end like an hour in, but that's not much of a surprise. It's a genre that lives by formula. Yeah, pretty game. Overall, by the end, like, climbing was more involved than it has been in games that incidentally have climbing, like Tomb Raider and Uncharted. Those games have gotten so boring with their climbing that you just do the linear climbing bit, mostly by holding the direction you're supposed to hold and sometimes pressing A or X, like a quick time event. So this was more interesting that it had, like, the little, like, grappling hook stuff where you could, like, create a manual anchor point, then use your rope and so on. But there wasn't that much depth to it, ultimately. It was just, like, it's just enough toys to play with that it wasn't always... that it didn't fully get boring in the time given. But it's still... I was definitely hoping that a game about climbing would be more mechanically interesting on that front, instead of just kind of being a series of little, like, things that just kind of, like, help mix it up a little bit so you're not totally bored. Oh well. It's an alternative to the approach that Journey and Absu have, which is mostly hold forward. Jump sometimes. It's more about the vibes. I think it's, like, longer than both of them combined, though. This is, like, I think 5 or 6 hours, as opposed to 2. That's a whole lot of French. Yeah, it's nice to see Don't Nod still existing and making other things, instead of just Life is Strange sequels and stuff. I'm trying to remember. I think they made Life is Strange 1 and 2, but somebody else made Before the Storm and somebody else made the Colors one, the newest one. I've only played the ones with Max and Chloe. I've never played 2 or Colors. I feel like I want a co-host or something for those to hang out and chat. I like this more than Vampire, which I thought was very bad. What is glass but tortured sand? Maybe it's for the best this game didn't have any voice acting. I was about to say it didn't have any writing, but it had a mountain of writing. I like the little... I did like the journals, like the world building of the setting and little touches on how that worked. Like, the world's very interesting. This... You're climbing upward, which is counterintuitively going backwards through the history of the society as it went through its decay and decline, because it literally... it's a society that fell extremely literally, in that it was up and came down the mountain because the ocean, it was chasing the ocean as it receded further and further, and they're trying to maintain some level of life. And there was an interesting mix of, like, left behind ocean level stuff, like discarded boats that didn't make it down, that like people like places where clearly you can figure out that, like, certain areas they had docks where they kept their boats dry docked, and they were just figured they'd wait out this tide change, and one day it would come back up and they'd use that boat again, and it just never did. So the boat just stayed there in pristine condition on a dry dock that's thousands of feet above the ground. That stuff's all neat. And then you can see where they adapted in some of these cases, like next to docks you found mushroom farms, and it's like, that couldn't have been a mushroom farm when it was underwater. So there's, like, you have conflicting construction, you have buildings that serve purposes that are for different climates, essentially, because one location literally had different climates at different times as their society kind of fell and people had to adapt and change and then eventually leave. By the time this game happens, there's not a single person here, and it seems to be implied that we're just some outsider that showed up here. We're not really sure. I don't think the game ever gives you answers about who the protagonist even is, but I don't think they're from here, because it seems like this place completely fell some time ago, And given that you never do meet anybody, all you know that it was long enough ago. Like, that person climbed to the top of the mountain. The person whose logbook we were reading climbed all the way up the mountain, then stopped up near the top, and then they grew old and died. And that, because we never meet them, we never know how old those messages are. They could have died a month ago. They could have died 100 years ago. So we don't know when anything was. You don't know if this is a person on a hero's journey who traveled across the whole world to save the world with this little blobbo, or if they're the last human being on the planet that's just selflessly helping this other species save itself while resigning themselves to the death of mankind. You actually you only get answers about the old society, but you don't get any answers about what's happening right now. And oop, water up. I kind of wish that they let us. I kind of wish that the game started earlier, like further down the mountain, and that it would have been a little more impactful if we were physically on the ground level. We're not seen coming out of our home if we're on this mountain, but I kind of figure we're not from this mountain because nobody seems to be left here. It seems to be an abandoned colony, and maybe there's humans elsewhere across the plains. But I kind of wish that we walked up to the mountain on the plains and then started climbing. Because when the game starts, you look down and you're pretty high up already. Like you can see the ground, which is some perspective. Because for the rest of the game, you can't really tell where the top or the bottom of the mountain is. It's just this endless, incredible wall. Like it's incalculable and incomprehensible. But I think if you start at the bottom, the beginning would be a little more impactful, especially by the time you get to the top. But also would narrow down a little bit some of the possibilities of your character's story, of like where they're coming from and why they're here. It's like, are they local or not? But I'm figuring not. That was neato. Nope. That was my completionism. It's my inept completionism. I missed 2 notes. Oh, I got every note in migration. Ugh, missed 4 notes in Solstice. It had 19. That was a very long chapter. 3 was a huge chapter. Only missed 1 in Convergence. Missed 1 in Mirage. There are none in there was I didn't get a single conch. Let's see. First one I missed 2 notes and 1 cairn. I got the shell. Just a cairn and a mural. 4 notes, 1 shell, 2 cairns. 1 note, 1 cairn, 1 spinny music thing. I think that's the only one I missed. No, I missed the last 2 of them. 1 note, 3 shells. I didn't see any of the shells at all. A cairn, a mural, and a spinny thingy. I didn't complete a single category in Mirage. Whoops. Maybe that's why it went so fast. Listen, the wind mechanic was very distracting. I'm not sure where the divergences were meant to be. Whoops. Okay, I'm probably mainlined that one a little bit because there was an ever-present struggle the entire time where they're in my way. Well, alrighty then. I already forgot what Jusant meant. Here, let's Google things real quick. I think I started the playthrough by saying what Jusant meant, but did you These are all meaningful things. Jusant, yeah, it's a receding tide. The game opens on a missing ocean, so it's kind of straightforward. Daymark, meaning a marker or construction that is only visible by the day and then is used by sailors to navigate. That was the lighthouse thing. That makes perfect sense. And I don't remember this word, even though I've counted it a few times, so... Siz... Iggy. It's genuinely hard to spell when like reading back and forth. Conjunction or opposition, especially of the moon and the sun, because we were in the darkness as opposed to the ever-present sun that was there before. A pair of connected or corresponding things. Animus and anima represent a supreme pair of opposites. State of balance or union between opposing forces or elements. Like man versus nature. This artificial structure in which we help these creatures. Alignment of different entities. Greek word meaning with or together and yoked. There was literally like a giant... There was basically like egg and sperm symbology going on by the end with all the little things flying up into the top thing, but they were also all together. So that's interesting. There's a lot going on there. Those are fun words to unpack. But yeah, that's gonna be Jusant. I'm on a roll. I'm having fun doing these little rapid fire games and beating a game in 1 or 2 sessions and having that be the week. It's fun. It's been a good vacation because I felt trapped by how long the playthroughs were that I was doing for a lot of the second half of 2023. So it's kind of cool to just be like, hey, let's see some stuff. And I don't know what I'll pick next. That's exciting.